Welcome to another episode of Down the Rabbit Hole with Eddie. In the 18th century, a mathematician named Pierre-Simon Laplace imagined something extraordinary. A vast intelligence, a demon so powerful it could know the exact position and momentum of every particle in the universe. With that knowledge, Laplace claimed the future could be no mystery. Every heartbeat, every raindrop, every thought you ever had, all of it could be predicted with perfect precision. This is the essence of determinism, the belief that every moment is the inevitable consequence of the moment before it. Cause, then effect. Dominoes falling in perfect sequence. It sounds elegant, almost mathematical. But it's also terrifying, because it means your choices were never really your choices. Your beliefs, your fears, even your love might simply be the result of prior events, stretching all the way back to the Big Bang. And if that's true, who's really in control? You or the physics that built you? Today, in part 2 of this series, we explore Laplace's demon, the terrifying implications of a fully deterministic universe, and the cracks that begin to show once we reach the edges of modern neuroscience, and the bizarre unpredictability of the quantum world. Welcome to the illusion of choice. Imagine an intellect so vast and so precise that it knew the position and momentum of every atom in the universe. This being would see the past, the future, and misses nothing. This being was first imagined in the 18th century by a French scientist, Pierre-Simon Laplace, and this became known as Laplace's demon. To Laplace, the universe was just a machine, a cosmic engine. If you knew all the forces acting on every particle at any given time, and if you had a mind powerful enough to do the math, you could predict everything that ever was and everything that ever will be. In this vision of the universe, randomness doesn't exist. Not really. Everything is the consequence of something else. Even you, even your thoughts, even the decision you think you're about to make right now. This is the essence of determinism, the notion that every moment is the inevitable consequence of what came before it. It's elegant, it's terrifying, because it means there is no free will, only the illusion of choice. And here's another twist. Even your belief in free will could be predetermined. Every preference, every decision, just echoes of causes you'll never see. Some neuroscience experiments suggest that your brain may make decisions before you're consciously aware of them. In a landmark study in 1980s, neuroscientist Benjamin Libet discovered that a brain signal called the readiness potential begins several hundred milliseconds before a person reports consciously deciding to move. More recent studies, like one in 2008 by John Dylan Haynes and colleagues, show that brain activity could predict a participant's decision up to 7 seconds before they became aware of it. In other words, your neurons may have already decided before you feel like you've made a choice. If your brain decides before you do, who or what is in control? And yet, for all of its certainty, determinism struggles with one thing: the quantum world, where particles seem to defy prediction. This is where Laplace's demon begins to fall apart, and where the many worlds theory begins to emerge. Just when we thought we had the universe somewhat figured out, the quantum world shattered the illusion. At the tiniest scales where atoms and particles dance, determinism begins to crack. Particles don't behave like marbles. They behave like waves of possibility. Until observed, they don't exist in one place. They exist in many. They exist in superposition, a blur of all potential outcomes. Schrödinger's cat. A thought experiment where a cat is both alive and dead until someone looks inside the box. Schrödinger came up with a strange thought experiment to show how weird quantum physics can be. Imagine a cat sealed inside a box. Inside the box is a tiny amount of radioactive material. It might decay, it might not. If it doesn't, a detector triggers a hammer that breaks a vial of poison gas, killing the cat. If the atom doesn't decay, the cat stays alive. But here's the twist. Until someone opens the box and checks, the cat is considered both alive and dead at the same time. That's because at the quantum level, particles can exist in multiple states at once, something called superposition, and we don't know which outcome is real until we observe it. So what really happens when we observe? Does the universe pick a path? Does reality collapse? One answer, perhaps the boldest of all, is this: it doesn't collapse. It branches. This is the many worlds interpretation, and it claims that every possible outcome of a quantum event actually happens. Not metaphorically, but literally. When you flip a coin, the universe doesn't pick one result. In this world, it splits. In one universe, it lands heads. In another, tails. In another, maybe it falls off the table and rolls away. When Mark walks into the door, unsure whether to get a haircut, in one branch he opens it. In another, he doesn't. But in another, Mark is the barber. And here's where it gets strange. Every version of you continues on its own path, each just as real, just as vivid as the one you're in right now. So when you ask, what if I had? What if I've done this? What if I had done that? The answer is simple. You did. Somewhere. If you found this video interesting, give it a like and hit subscribe. It really helps my channel grow. This was part 2 of the 3-part series, and trust me, part 3 will dive even deeper. You won't want to miss it, so click the notification bell and stay tuned. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.